What's up, guys? Today in this video, we are going to talk about how to have good credit, how important it is to have good credit. Go over in this video really what it takes to get good credit and what the credit bureaus look at. My name is Devin Burr, Mr. Burr. You might know me from Instagram, from TikTok. Man, I used to have horrible credit. Like, we're not taught how to have good credit in high school. It's just not something that's taught. My parents didn't teach me it, so I had to learn on my own. And I got a credit card right out of high school, and I got approved for $5,000. Now, as a kid, 18, 19 years old, I was amazed. I'm like, I could just swipe this card, got a new system in my car. And I'm like, all right, cool, let me get some new rims. Swipe the card, got the rims, didn't have the money. Now, I went off to college out of state, and bill was coming to my parents' house. They would send it to me out of state. By the time it got to me, I made the minimum payment, but didn't make the late payment. So I went 30 days late to 60 days to 90 days to 120 days late. And my credit card balance went from like 5,000 to 8,000 in no time. I was paying that credit card off for a very, very long time. And my credit score was like a 200. It was ridiculous. So some of you might be able to relate to that, is having problems with credit at an early age. Now, if you knew how credit worked, it wouldn't have happened. So hopefully you guys can get some little tips and strategies of how to have good credit and how to strengthen your credit if you're not in a great spot right now. And it's really quite simple. You have to know what the credit bureaus look at. So first thing, the credit bureaus are going to look at on-time payments. That has the most, that's kind of a given. People know that, right? But that has the biggest impact on your score. So whatever you have to do, obviously just make your payments on time. Generally speaking, as long as you make them within 30 days, then it's not considered late. Prime example, if your payment is due on March 1st, if you make it on March 31st, you're not going to have a problem. It's not going to report as late on your credit. However, if you make it just one day later on April 1st, it's now 30 days late and it's going to affect your credit like crazy. So make your payments on time. So important. Now, the second thing and the biggest thing they look at when it comes to your credit score, and that is credit utilization. So if you have a credit card for $10,000 and your balance is always $10,000, you're gonna have bad credit. General rule of thumb is you want to keep your balance below, I would say 10 to 15% of the available limit. So if you have a $10,000 limit, really don't have your credit card go over $1,000 to $1,500 on the balance. Now, remember, it's when it's reported to the credit bureau. So if you make a charge on a $10,000 credit card for like $5,000, try to get that paid down to at least down to 10 to 15% as soon as possible, so that it doesn't report you having $5,000 on the card on a $10,000 card. It'll hurt your credit. So that's the second thing. Keep your balances low. Now, one thing you can do to help that is periodically, I would say once a month, maybe 2 months, get a hold of your credit card companies. A lot of credit cards, you can do this over the app and just ask for a credit increase. So if you're generally spending $3,000, $4,000 on credit cards on a $10,000 credit card, that's gonna negatively impact your score if you don't pay it down in time. However, if you're spending that amount on a card that's got a $70,000 limit, it's a moot point. So that's something that I do every single month. I continuously ask for credit increases, and generally speaking, I'm always given them. So at this point, I believe over all my credit cards, I've got about $400,000 in availability. Again, I just always ask for increases, and that way my credit utilization is extremely low, regardless of kind of when I make the payments and whatnot, or how fast I pay the balances down, I should say. So that's the second thing. The third thing that they look at is length of time that the credit cards are open. So basically, if you have a credit card, never close it. ever. Keep it open for the rest of your life, because the longer you have it open, the better it is on your credit. A lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna close this credit card so I don't use it, and it's gonna help my credit. It actually has a negative impact because it shortens the average time you have accounts open. So if you have a credit card, keep it open for the rest of your life. Never close it. Always use it to get flyer miles, to get points, to get cash back, but use it on things that you can pay with cash if you wanted to. So use the credit cards to help you. Again, to get flyer miles, to get points, to get cash back. Just don't keep the balances super high, because again, your credit utilization will be too high and you'll be paying a lot of interest to the insurance company. Now, the last thing to look at, the fourth thing, and it has the least impact on your score, is inquiries. A lot of people think, man, I don't want to have my credit pulled. It's going to lower my score. And it does, but it doesn't lower a lot. I mean, the way I look at it is, if you have good credit and you don't have it pulled, you're not utilizing your good credit when you could. So if you've worked on your credit and you're going to need to use your credit to buy a house or do whatever, don't worry about a credit pull. Credit pulls don't have that big of an impact on your score. And generally speaking, if you're shopping for a mortgage, if you're trying to get a house, you have a window where you can have as many credit pulls as you want. I believe it's a 2-week window where you can have as many credit pulls as you want, and it only counts as one credit pull. So those guys are the 4 things about credit, how it's looked at by the credit bureaus, and how you can actually boost your score just by keeping those things in line. Always make your payments on time. Keep your credit utilization as low as possible. Always pay the balances down. What I would recommend is not paying them down to 0. Pay them down to like $1, $2, so that way they report on your credit bureau or your credit score as having a very, very small balance instead of having 0 balance. If it's 0, sometimes it doesn't even show the credit card on your credit. So keep the balances low. Keep them open for the rest of your life so your average length of time is a lot longer. And then the last thing is credit inquiries. Don't go have your credit pulled all the time just for nothing. But if you're trying to get something and you've got good credit, go ahead and have it pulled. It's not going to hurt you that bad. So guys, if you got value from this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Shoot some comments in the comments section and let me know if you guys have further questions about this kind of stuff. Very versed on it. I used to do mortgages for a living before I got into real estate, and I actually went through a bankruptcy, and I have a credit score now of about 760. So I've gotten it up from being in the dumps, not once, but twice. When I was a kid, it was about 200 because I didn't know what the heck credit was. And I fell on some hard times in my early 30s and was bankrupt. And now I have it back up in 760 territory. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Till then, peace.